3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
The Mavericks are down 2-0. Everybody's counting them out. But what if they come back from this deficit? I'll tell you how.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube. Here's Theo Dorsey.
What a Wednesday. Here on Theoretically Speaking, myself, Theo Dorsey, C-Cat on the ones and twos. I'd be remiss if I don't start out by saying rest in peace to the logo, Jerry West, who we learned passed today at the age of 86. I have been thoroughly enjoying all of the great stories we've heard here on ESPN 106.3, right from the morning show, right from Unsportsmanlike. And by the way, we'll have Evan Cohen on today, right around next 15, 20 minutes. We'll have him jump in, talk about what's grinding his gears, as well as reminisce on the life, the legacy, and the legend that was Jerry West, the logo, who it's funny as we hear these stories, and again, from PJ Carlesimo to Hubie Brown, and they have all of these tales of who Jerry West was as a player, as a friend. He defined what the modern day NBA has looked like for me as a fan, as an executive, in a way that I never really sat back and reflected on and thought about how great his impact was until today. But Jerry West, who had a Hall of Fame career as a player and then again as an executive, you think about the fact that he's the one that convinced the Lakers and went out and traded for Kobe Bryant. He's the one that exhausted himself so much so that he had to go to the hospital following the recruitment of Shaquille O'Neal to the Los Angeles Lakers. He constructed that three-peat that happened, but then also his influence in the greatest dynasty in our modern basketball times. When you think about these Warriors, the best dynasty since the Shaq and Kobe Lakers have been that Golden State Warriors team. He had an instrumental part in getting Kevin Durant to Golden State, as well as the influence over how that roster looked. And on top of that, one thing that keeps getting overlooked in that is Jerry West's influence on grit and grind. That Memphis Grizzlies team that just held so heavily. But the one thing that to me is always going to be Jerry West's legacy, something that'll never be taken away, of the many different prongs. I mean, he's a guy who there's only a handful of people who have influenced the game of basketball and have dedicated their life to it as much as him, is that Finals MVP from 1969. Likely the one thing, the one more unbreakable record in basketball, when Jerry West won that Finals MVP for the Lakers in a losing effort against the Boston Celtics, the only person to ever win the Bill Russell Award and not come out victorious, hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy. And I'm sure he was miserable about it, because as we've learned about Jerry West, this guy loved winning, and the only thing he hated more than anything was losing. And Jerry West is definitely going to be missed. I think back to that Finals MVP, because as we are now on the precipice of the Game 3 of the NBA Finals, the Mavericks and the Boston Celtics tonight in Texas, that's going to be a key prong. That's going to be a key cog as to who will come out victorious tonight. I think that's going to be a major factor. The Dallas Mavericks find themselves in an 0-2 hole. Only 5 teams in the history of the NBA have ever been able to return from an 0-2 hole and win the NBA Finals. Actually, that 69 Celtics team that beat Jerry West's squad was one of them. They were the first, and the last one was the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks. A lot of people forget about the heroic efforts of Giannis Antetokounmpo. But today, it feels like everybody's out on the Mavericks. It feels like so many people are writing this off. The Celtics super team that is so good from top to bottom when you think about Drew Holiday and Derek White and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis. Such a deep team, such a strong squad that has seemed impervious to any kind of deficit in these NBA playoffs. But I'll give you 3 reasons why the Dallas Mavericks do have a window of opportunity to go back and come back and not only win tonight, but also have a chance to win these NBA Finals. C-Cat, for you, did you ever watch actually that show on HBO, Winning Time, that caught so many numbers and caught so many fans by storm?
Unfortunately, haven't. Heard great things, though.
Man, that, again, when it comes to Jerry West. I watched that show with my wife. Like, her seeing him in that explosive way and him being portrayed in that way by the actor there, to me, it's like, if you want any real good depiction, not only the stories from the day, but going back and watching Winning Time again, that'll tell you just how insatiable winning was for him, or the force against losing. And again, tonight, for those Dallas Mavericks and Boston Celtics, they're going to want to channel that spirit. I can't wait to see what the dedication the NBA does for Jerry West will be at American Airlines Arena. Let's talk about Game 3, though, of these NBA Finals. They will be tonight. 8:30 tip-off at American Airlines. The Dallas Mavericks, a 2.5-point favorite right now on Hard Rock Bet, down 0-2 in the series. But here is the reason why I feel like these Mavericks have some steam. They have an opportunity. Reason number one why I feel like if this happens, the door is open for a Mavericks comeback, and a substantial one at that.
Number 1.
And it's got to be the Finals MVP trophy. Not just who's chasing after it, but its mere existence as the one thing that can divide the Boston Celtics as the Mavericks look to conquer. If you looked at Jason Tatum and the way that he played in Game 1 with the Mavericks down by 25, the Celtics had a comfortable lead, 100-75 with about 5 minutes left in Game 1. Where was Jason Tatum? On the floor, forcing shots up, trying to pad those stats. He ended with 16 points. In Game 2, Jason Tatum, another stinker, 6 for 22 from the field. Never really got his offense going. Was a really good assist game for him, but he knew that those statistics he would need to get that Bill Russell trophy in his back pocket were not going the right way. And take a listen to this, because I think it's very telling from Jason Tatum. Following Game 2, following a win from the Celtics, take a listen to him addressing his struggles on the offensive end, and you tell me if this sounds like a player who's happy to be up 2-0 in the finals, or somebody who's disappointed knowing that their legacy is a bit on the line, because people are going to have all of these conversations, the same ones we had about Steph Curry, about, yeah, you won the championship, but why weren't you a Finals MVP?
Every time I take a couple dribbles, it's like 3 people right there. So, we got a bunch of shooters on our team and guys that can space the floor. They kept leaving Drew open, and so it wasn't like I had to do anything spectacular. It was just about finding the open guy. I've been here before and we didn't win, and it's just like, we're so close to what we're trying to accomplish. Why would I let my ego or feel my need to score all the points get in the way of that? There are going to be times where, I need to score, and obviously I need to shoot better. Golly.
C-Cat, does that sound like a guy that's up 2-0 in the finals, 2 wins away from his very first NBA championship? Or does that sound like a guy that's disappointed that an individual accolade that he has yearned for since he was a little boy is seeming to be further out of his grasp?
Yeah, if you were to play that audio for me 2 weeks ago before this series begun and said, this is from 2 weeks from now, this is Jason Tatum after Game 2, I would have said they're down 0-2.
Yeah.
Or they're at least 1-1.
I can't jump into the head of Jason Tatum. I can't tell you exactly what he's thinking, but I can show you what he has been doing on the basketball court, and I can also play for you his reaction after these games. That dude cares about the Finals MVP trophy. There's also a couple of other guys on his team, and there's a coach on the other side that knows good and well that he also cares about that individual accolade, and that could be step one to the Dallas Mavericks having a shot in this series. The Celtics are best when they play that altruistic basketball, that hoops where they're swinging it around, they're driving, they're kicking. Whoever gets the ball and is open takes the shot. But if Jason Tatum, who's been shooting under 30% from 3, under 40% from the floor, and is yet to hit 20 points in the game this series, if he goes out there tonight and he's chucking up shots and he's trying to pad his stats and he's trying to prove to the world and maybe even to himself that he's the best player on the Boston Celtics, that is reason number one why the Dallas Mavericks can have a chance. And it's funny because the Mavericks know it based on the way that Jason Kidd came out and said Jaylen Brown is the best player on the Boston Celtics. He's the guy we're worried about stopping. And then Drew Holiday backdooring and agreeing with Jason Kidd and saying Jaylen Brown is the best. And then in Game 2, Drew Holiday having a Drew game and knocking Jason Tatum down to the 3rd most impactful Celtic so far in this series. And that's a close one, Because reason number two,
that
the Dallas Mavericks have a shot at not just winning tonight, but coming back in this series, is the questions around Kristaps Porzingis, who is a very pivotal player for the Boston Celtics, not just with the way he stretches the floor, but his rim defense. And Kristaps Porzingis, this is what I would do if I'm the Boston Celtics anyway. You're up 2-0, right? You can't afford to drop this game because you don't want the Mavericks to get any momentum. But Kristaps has an injury that is so severe that most headlines and reporters are just calling it a rare leg injury. It's his left leg. It's a problem. And if I'm the trainers and staff, because apparently they can't get this guy to agree that he should be sitting out of the game, if I'm the trainers and staff, my new rule, it's kind of similar to like there's the concussion protocol rules that they have in sports where it's like you have to answer certain questions to be able to get back on the field. Hey, Kristaps, if you can pronounce the injury you have, then you can try and play through it. Because I don't know what he's going to be able to do with this, but the injury, again, that right leg injury, he suffered a torn medial retinaculum, allowing the dislocation of the posterior tibialis in his left leg. That's too much word alphabet soup for you to be trying to go and play through it at 7'3" with a lower extremity injury. And we know Kristaps Porzingis is known for two things: being a unicorn, impossible to stop, great rim defender, right? But also his inability to remain on the court. You don't want a leg injury compounding, even at this stage in the NBA Finals. Kristaps Porzingis' availability for the Boston Celtics is already in question. We don't know if he'll play tonight yet. And even if he does, a hampered Porzingis feels like almost as much of a defensive target for the Celtics to be picked at as Rudy Gobert was for the Timberwolves last series. You don't want Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic getting a switch out of Kristaps and being able to take advantage of him. That dude has to sit. And if he does, the Celtics have outscored the Mavericks by 25 points with Kristaps on the floor. With him off the floor in this series, they've played dead even. A missing Kristaps, or if the unicorn is hobbled at all out there, C-Cat, that is going to spell some danger for the Boston Celtics, and that could be another gateway to the Mavericks not just winning tonight, but winning the series.
I guess so. I'm concerned because I think we might be doing a little bit of hope casting here, because I want this to become a series. You want this to become a series, and we're coming up with the reasons how this can become a series, and it all starts have to win Game 3 tonight.
They have to win Game 3 tonight, and I will stop the momentum of this by saying if you're going to watch Game 3 tonight, which you better be doing, one of the best places to watch it is Duffy Sports Grill. I mean, if you haven't pulled up to a Duffy Sports Grill and watched the game, then might I invite you to try it out tonight for the first time. 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day, so it doesn't matter what time you show up. When you pull up, you'll be able to order whatever you like. Is that a whiskey Coke? Yeah, bang. Double it up. 2-for-1. Do you like a Long Island? Dangerous game. You're playing past 8:30, but you know what? Have your fun. It's Duffy Sports Grill. Award-winning burgers, award-winning wings, and, of course, Duffy'sMVP.com. When you are a rewards member, an MVP like me, you can track those rewards. And all of those 2-for-1 drinks, they're stacking up points for you. They're stacking up points the same way that Jason Tatum's trying to stat pad his points. You can stat pad at the Duffy Sports Grill tonight. 80 or more televisions in every single location, so you can watch all of your favorite games. If there's multiple going on at the same time, the viewing experience is great. The food is amazing. And, of course, I always double down. 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. Check out that Finals Game 3 at your closest Duffy Sports Grill. At Duffy's, our game is always on. And speaking of Finals Game 3, reason number 3 the Dallas Mavericks can win this series, can make it a series, and be only the 6th team in NBA history to come back from an 0-2 deficit in the NBA Finals.
Number 3.
And that's Luka Doncic. Plain and simple. Luka Doncic has an opportunity of the lifetime right now, here today. If you think about what made Giannis Antetokounmpo this immaculate star, a guy that is now impervious to our commentary on his bad playoff performances we have seen since, it was in 2021 when the Suns led 2-0 and Giannis averaged damn near 40 points per game over the next 4 games, including that closeout game in Game 6. His star ascended to a place that year that is unmatched. That is how you come back in a series down 0-2. How about for South Florida fans and Miami Heat fans like myself? We take it back to 0-6 when Dwayne Wade and the Miami Heat with Shaquille O'Neal were down 0-6 to these Dallas Mavericks. Everybody had wrote them off. But that was then when the legend of Flash was born. And Dwayne Wade, I know a lot of people like to talk about the 75-odd free throws he took over the next 4 games, but how about the fact that he averaged 40 points per game for those Miami Heat? He came back. The Heat never lost another game, and that was the first championship in Miami Heat history. By the way, C-Cat, this morning I was at Kaiser University for the Perseverance Basketball Heat Week camp, and I was up close and personal with the Larry O.B.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right next to you?
Right next to me, man. A little bit of that Heat lure, that Heat culture, you know what I'm saying? It bounced back and forth, me and the Larry O.B. It felt like, again, I haven't played in the NBA yet, but it did
Don't say yet.
What?
Yet. You're not going to play in the NBA.
I'm 31 years old, C-Cat. Don't punt on my dreams.
Not a Disney movie, pal. You're not playing in the NBA.
I stand here before you sporting an Oreo Olympics gold medal today because I won a discus competition in our office. We've been doing the Oreo Olympics. I would have never thought I would be a gold medalist, and here I am, a 2-time gold medalist in our in-office Oreo Olympics competition. And now you're saying my NBA dreams are already dead.
Yeah, I say the ship has sailed. It would have happened by now,
How old is Al Horford? How old is Al Horford?
What is he, like 39?
Yeah. I got time. That's all I'm saying. And I will say, being just that close to the Larry O.B., I see why people thirst so much for it. I see why the late, great Jerry West, when he lost all of those finals, he gained that insatiable taste and thirst for winning when he finally did in 72 for the Lakers. Like, I felt the aura of the Larry O'Brien trophy, and it felt damn good. And I won't feel bad about it. And maybe that's what got me over the hump to get me this gold medal in our office competition today. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. The Dallas Mavericks can come back in this series from down 0-2, but what will it take? Hit us up on our Baptist Health hotline. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. We'll bring in Evan Cohen in a moment. 888-760-3776. The Dallas Mavericks can come back in the NBA Finals if what? And we have Vontae in Atlanta. He is on line 1. Vontae, you are on, theoretically speaking. What's happening on this beautiful Wednesday, Doc?
Man, it's beautiful out here. I love the show. I just wanted to say that I think the Mavs can definitely come back if, Porzingis being out. I think that'll be the biggest way. And another thing, too, I just got to say, can we finally agree that Jaylen Brown is the most important player on the Celtics?
Hey, you know what?
I just feel like Tatum is so inconsistent. He'll have a stat pad, but he doesn't even affect on defense. Like, I don't know. I'm just over the hype. I'm a Duke fan. I was there. I loved him even when Tatum was there, but I just feel like they try to make him a superstar, and he's just a star.
I like that. I like that call, Vontae. I appreciate the call, and that's a good point. The difference between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, especially the one that feels like as a viewer, one of them elevates their game in the playoffs and in the biggest moments, especially in the NBA Finals. And the other one in Jason Tatum, he had that one Game 7 against the Sixers. Outside of that, I've seen him come up short more times than I've seen him have an heroic performance, and especially as many times as he settles for those bad three-point shots. He's not a great three-point shooter. In his head, he thinks he is. He specifically does that too many times in big moments for the Celtics, and that has been his detriment. I agree. Jaylen Brown, a much scarier presence on those Boston Celtics. When we come back, we get Evan Cohen coming in. He's mad at fans. Apparently, Evan Cohen is back on his soapbox, back in his yard, telling these young fans to get off of his lawn. We ask him why when we come back on Theoretically Speaking.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800